But
yeah,
there's a couple of things too. I want to talk about Portland in a second because we had an interesting conversation. I feel like both of us ended up being wrong about Portland. For those of you who didn't see one of the podcasts we had a little bit ago, me and Relly had I see your face. You're just like dead. We had a conversation about Portland. You said they were going to trade Dame and rebuild. I said they were going to keep Dame, bring in Jeremy Grant, and bring in a bunch of other players and contend. I think we both ended up being wrong because they didn't bring in anywhere near the players I thought they were going to bring in. They brought in Jeremy Grant and said, all right, I'm going to head out now, and didn't touch the team. Like, there were so many dudes out there. TJ Warren signed with the Nets, like, on a minimum. Couldn't you have offered that guy $6 million to come to your team or something and at least try something? Why? What is the issue with the Portland Trailblazers, Relly? Tell me right now.
It's Portland. That's why I thought in my mind, in my logical thinking cap, that Damian Lillard would get traded this offseason. But you know what they did instead? They said, you know what? We're going to look at it for Fernie Simons. We're going to give you a little bit. We're going to give you a lot of money. Then we're going to go to Nurkic. We're going to give you a little bit of extension too.
Why did Nurkic get a $90 million deal? Who was offering Nurkic that much money besides maybe a Chinese team or something? Ain't no one was offering Nurkic $90 million for 4 years. I don't get it. There were rumors that they were going to offer that guy a pay cut, and then he was going to take it because he really liked it in Portland. But I guess even he was like, damn, you guys ain't going to sign nobody, fine, just give me the money and we'll call it a day. He barely plays the season. He plays like 2 games and is injured. I don't get it. Who's going to play center next year for the Portland Trailblazers if Yusuf Nurkic goes down with a sore butt cheek or something? You know what I mean?
I don't even think they care. It's too and that's the problem. That's why all those a couple weeks ago I thought Portland was gonna move the way he did, because it's like I think Portland knows Portland is gonna be Portland. But what I underestimated is Portland overrides thinking. They override anything logical. So when they made the moves they made, Jeremy Grant, all right, okay, I see. But then you only did that and you extend all these players who's never proved to do anything with or without Damian Lillard, and you give them all this money for no reason. And then you didn't even add any other players to, like, you didn't add a DeAndre Ayton. You didn't even attempt to try to get a DeAndre Ayton.
No.
You didn't attempt to get a TJ Warren. You didn't attempt to get any of the top 10 or top 20 free agents. Shoot, you didn't even try to get the role players in it. Honestly, still, and you're telling the Portland fans that we're going to be competitive next season? Absolutely not. Because, like I told my friends, if you're paying a Fernie Simons $100 million, what you basically just told me with a straight face is that a Fernie Simons, at the bare minimum, is going to be close to CJ McCollum or better. Unfortunately, a Fernie Simons is not going to be nowhere near CJ McCollum, because the only time a Fernie Simons truly touched those CJ numbers is when CJ and Dame was not on the floor, which is a problem because the player that's really going to have to play better offensively is Damian Lillard, and he's been kind of struggling, well, really this season, because he's had no help. And now I'm telling my friends right now too, that player y'all just signed in Jeremy Grant, I promise you this season, because of how poorly y'all made y'all team, how poorly y'all just constructed this offseason. In 1 year, y'all going to almost be saying Jeremy Grant is overrated because of how garbage this team is and how over the top y'all going to be making Jeremy Grant in his role, because y'all going to be expecting Jeremy Grant to essentially give y'all 20-plus a game, and Jeremy Grant is not that type of player to be a second option, because that's basically what he's going to have to be on this team.
Really?
A second option.
What are you doing to me, bro? All the Portland fans are going to dislike the hell out of this Clips video, man.
I'm sorry, but at some point, if you're a Portland fan, you have to come to the realization that this team is worse than the team we just seen last year. Worse. You signed a Nurkic
What?
who's you might as well say he's not playing this season. Fernie Simons is like really a Fernie, like it is so many other role players that could do what a Fernie Simons do for half the cost. And then Jeremy Grant, all right.
You know
But
the
is that
Simpsons
really
meme where they're like, stop, he's already dead.
Yeah, like this
That's-
is man.
All right. I got a couple of things. I do disagree with a couple of things. First of all, I don't think Portland are going to be total crap. I still think Portland are going to be a playing team. They will be a playing team. They also did get better. They did get better because CJ had a lot of injuries for Portland last year. It didn't seem like it was really there anymore. Damian Lillard, I don't think, was necessarily trying as much. Their depth really, really sucked. Like, it was one of the worst depth teams in the league. But now, you do keep Anthony Simons, who, look, I agree, did not play. He only plays his best when Dame and that are not playing. But I think he can work into it. You still brought in Jeremy Grant, who, first of all, they need to contract extend. Got to get that done, or that trade was pointless at this point. Get that deal done. Jeremy Grant is still a dude that's going to put up 17 and good perimeter defense for him. If Nurkic stays healthy, you do have a solid center there. Josh Hart is still a good small forward. They brought in Gary Payton, remember. That's a really good defender off the bench. Drafted Shane Sharp. Don't know about that one. Don't know about that one. And then I'm kind of done. There's not a whole lot more going on with this team. But honestly, it's still a plane. But you need a center. I don't know who they need to bring in DeMarcus Cousins or something, but he wants to start. I guarantee you DeMarcus Cousins has gotten a couple offers, but he has declined all of them because they would have been, you're going to be our third string center, right? That maybe is why he didn't accept the Warriors offer, because maybe they've told him we want to start James Wiseman. Even though you'll play similar minutes to him, we still want to start James Wiseman. Maybe that's why he declined their offer. But you need to bring in someone. JaVale McGee was right there. He signed for $9 million a season. He would have been a good pickup, you know what I mean? And I feel like you could have done a sign and trade to make something like that happen. You've got players like Keon Johnson and those type of guys who are on around $4 million that you're probably not going to play a whole lot next season. They're not as bad as you think, but they didn't do enough this season. I think they're kind of stacked on guards. They have like 7 guards on this roster, and only 4 of them are probably going to play. And then the forward depth is okay. Josh Hart, who is arguably a wing, so that's the first issue. And then you still got Jeremy Grant that's there as well. And it's just not right. They still need a backup center, you know what I mean? So, yeah, they definitely need to do that. And I don't know. It's just not very good. I don't know.
The only
I don't
thing
know
I say in rebuttal to that, man, the only trump card they have, because we don't know, they saying he's a mystery. He could be, maybe he might be their next player, is Shaedon Sharp. Maybe he turns into a star and he breaks everything I just said today. But unless that happens, they literally have Damian and a team of role players right now.
Yeah.
And
fair.
I do not see. If I give Dame the benefit of the doubt, yeah, they make the play. But if Dame at any point gets hurt this season, it's over. We're going to see the same season we just witnessed last season. They're not making it. This is not a good team at all, at no stretch of the imagination. I'm sorry. Yes, you got Josh Hart. He can do something. He's different than what y'all have had before. I respect that. Fernie Simons, I'm not. You're not gonna sell me on that player.
Ooh.
He's especially when you literally traded CJ McCollum under the intent that you had a Fernie Simons who could either A, be close to CJ or potentially better than CJ. I don't see it because his numbers literally only jumps up when both of those high value players and Dame and CJ is off the floor. And you, like I said, you still got to remember you got Josh Hart, who's going to get some touches. I mean, you wouldn't have traded for him if he wasn't going to get some touches. Jeremy Grant, of course, is going to get the ball. And Nurk is probably not going to be on the floor anyway. So I just don't see it unless Shaedon Sharpe develops a season or Josh Hart decides this season, because you're not going to sell me on Gary Payton either, because it's like on Golden State, even though he was a really great role player, he was like the seventh or eighth man on the rotation, which is, it's a good thing because the Warriors was deep. But it's like for Portland, what is truly your expectations of Gary Payton for Portland, who don't have a lot of players really established other than Dame? Like, Dame is the only player on this team you can straight face say, all right, we know what he's going to give you on a day-to-day basis. You can't truly say that with Jeremy Grant. You can't say that with Nurkic because he's not going to play. Like, he's just not going
you're not wrong.
He's not going to play. And then Fernie Simons, you can't really say that either. You can't say that with him either, because the only time you really seen him actually play good is when both of his stars wasn't on the floor.
Yeah.
So it's like the only player you can kind of push that needle for is Josh Hart, because we've seen what he was doing with when Ingram was still there, when Ingram wasn't there, what he was trying to do, and then what he started to do when the trade happened, he was still balling. All right, but outside of that, I just don't think Portland right now is a good enough team to truly be a contender for the play-in. I mean, you got to give Dame the benefit of the doubt. I respect that. For anybody in the comments who's going to roast me, I'm sorry, CHB, for this. But if Dame at any point gets hurt like he did last season, it's over. It's over. You might as well get the assembling your trades, because Dame should not. Y'all need to get everything y'all can. Rebuild this roster like y'all should have did this season, because y'all not gonna keep this talent. And God, like you said, God forbid, if Jeremy Grant walks.
I don't know if it's Dame that you have to worry about mainly, because if Dame gets injured, you've still got Simons who'll go off, right? You've got him. You've got all these players. They've got guard depth. They've got an extreme amount of guard depth. One might argue they could have a top 10. I don't know. I think that's pretty solidified. They've probably got a top 10 guard depth in the league, right? Like, you think about it, you got Gary Payton, Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, old mate that they've just drafted. Young players like Keon Johnson, Josh Hart can still play the two. The guard depth is extremely good, but they've got the worst big man depth in the league. And I think you're more worrying about Yusuf Nurkic going down, because who's going to run their starting center? Me? Am I getting a call up? Because I'm pretty sure I could probably ball out more than Drew Eubanks, who was apparently still on the roster.
Forgot about him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who their backup center actually is supposed to be. Is Drew Eubanks
I think he is supposed to be their backup
center. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know about that one. That's probably not the best thing, but I think I'm a bit more high on Portland than you are. I'd probably still got them as like the 10th seed, the 9th seed at the moment, because I still think they jump above a couple of teams in the West. Like, you've still got one of the best players in the NBA. Right now, they're better than Houston. They're better than Oklahoma. They're better than
Utah. Better than Sacramento?
They're better than Sacramento. That's 4 teams right there. They're better than San Antonio. That's 5 teams. They'll jump to that 10th or 9th seed, I reckon. I think they're better than those. Unless Sacramento, like, I don't know, do something like relocate to Las Vegas or something this season, or relocate back to Cincinnati, then I don't know. But my final thing I will say about Portland is they could still very well surprise us. We haven't really taken into account that if everything goes right, this could be like a random 5th seed. Like, if Nurkic was to actually stay healthy, all of their players were to stay healthy, right? You've still got a solid 8 or 9 man rotation that's pretty good in the NBA. That could definitely jump up to a 5th seed. My worry is the Portland Trailblazers, if everything goes right, if they're all healthy, that's if Nurkic gets back to what he used to be. My worry is they've got the worst 10 to 15 man rotation nearly in the NBA. So that's why they won't ever get to being a 5th seed, because as soon as someone like Nurkic goes down, you've got Drew Eubanks as your starting center, and I'll probably get signed on a 10-day to play as their backup. So it's not happening. I'm saying 10th seed, 9th seed, they'll get. I honestly really had high hopes for this team. I thought if they were going to pick up like a TJ Warren or a Kyle Anderson as well, players like this, they could have for sure be like a 6th seed, right? But they never got there. They just didn't get there at all. I don't know what they're doing.
The moment I seen them have KD in a Portland jersey, I knew they was doomed. That's all I had to see.
Dame was just trying for anything, man. He was really trying. They could have tried to get KD. They could have tried to get DeAndre Ayton, and they just didn't try for like either of them.
Because they realized who they was. They remember they was Portland.
At one stage, they had the assets too. They had a Simons on like a sign and trade right there. They had so many of those dudes, like a Josh Hart could still gotten traded. The guy that they just drafted, I don't know why I've forgotten his name. They had the assets. They also have 100 billion first-round picks in the future because they never have traded any of them away. Man.
I'm going to be honest with you. Once that Rudy Gobert trade happened, all those assets you think Portland had, I think that went out the window. Well, for a lot of teams, too. Well, I'm going to be serious because once Rudy Gobert got 4 first rounds and a couple of players, actually, I think.
Yeah.
I think that broke. I think that broke a lot of teams. And I think somebody actually said that too. A couple of anonymous executives around the league, where they was like, "Yeah, I think the trade market is broken after that trade and the DeJounte Murray trade." What they really wanted to say that Rudy Gobert because
got now overpaid.
Yeah, so KD, it might take
12 first-round picks at this point.
Yeah.